As you can see, a number of examination boards offer A-level sociology, but the IB offers it as part of its social and cultural anthropology component in its diploma programme. The assessment procedures for IB aren't included here because they depend on the number of hours devoted to a level. However, you can access the details at ibo.org. The end of the last presentation briefly glimpsed at the weighting criteria of the assessment objectives, but we're now taking a closer look because the AOs are the skills examiners look for when marking. Weightings vary between the boards, making some boards more difficult than others. For example, the Cambridge International Examinations Board shows a 35% weighting for AO3, the most difficult AO, and is recognised as one of the more challenging boards. Nevertheless, all boards place significant values on AO1 as knowledge and understanding are key to pre-university preparation. AO2 weightings, however, vary. OCR emphasise it above AO3 by a range of 10%, while the CIE is the opposite. Moreover, a comparison of A star with unclassified grades reveal AQA and OCR similar, but CIE stands out as the most demanding. This is reflected by a review of university entrance interviews, where CIE candidates were assessed as more analytical and evaluative in comparison to AQA and OCR candidates. Sociology as an A-level subject shows some strong gender bias, with females twice likely to study A-level than males. The same applies to other subjects like psychology, languages and law, and we sociologists use these trends to claim an undeniable link between subject choice, the feminisation of the workforce, and the domestic division of labour. For example, careers in education, HR, social work, and nursing not only depend on people-orientated A-levels, but also on the extension of the expressive and caring roles women perform in families and households. In 2019, out of around 36,500 students who opted to study sociology A-level in England and Wales, about 31,000, that's 85%, followed AQA, making it the most popular board. Why do schools and colleges prefer this board? It may have to do with its emphasis on AO1, which is the least demanding AO skill of the three, and institutions always have an eye on good examination results, league tables, and marketing to attract more students. In comparison, OCR may be viewed more difficult because its higher weighting on AO2 requires the next level up skill of interpretation and implementation. For example, the questions with reference to and using the source and your wider sociological knowledge requires application. AQA also has more resources, which helps non-specialist sociology teachers who may be comforted knowing their students have access to a wider choice of material. Perhaps another reason for AQA's popularity may be its inclusion of health, work, welfare and poverty. And given the gender bias for this subject and the feminisation of the workforce, these topics would seem highly attractive to females. The OCR includes youth subcultures, which ties in strongly with social work. The CIE is limited in its syllabus, as it only focuses on education, theory and methods, the family, religion, global development and the media. Perhaps because these institutions are international and universal. The IB prefers to focus on concepts rather than institutions, as this makes it easier to transpose and migrate ideas across academic boundaries. Nevertheless, IB students are required to use socio-anthropological ideas to which A-level sociology is closely aligned. All the A-level examination boards share two irreducible components: the assessment objectives and the common core themes that make the syllabus. My online course covers both, with the IB sharing common ground on 2 specific areas. Your feedback is important to me because it's essential to our dialectical relationship, where your valid challenges and inputs contradict my system, resulting in change or a synthesis. You may prefer not to see my face and have it as an inset instead, or, like now, just as a voiceover. Academically, you may wish to challenge Marxism for its bias and its anti-capitalist theme. Dialectical thought runs through society. For example, climate change protests represent an antithesis position against the established thesis position, and the contradiction establishes social change and a new synthesis. Dialectics runs through sociology like a wind, and sociology is all about critical thinking skills, which we'll develop through your considered feedback on the lessons delivered and your thoughts on these all-important issues. We'll be having online debates and discussions on Zoom, Skype and WhatsApp. Topical issues such as, should the economy come before health during a global pandemic? Or, if all lives matter and not just black lives, what about refugees? We'll also address theoretical issues raised by examination questions, such as the time immemorial, is sociology a science? And is the nuclear family relevant today? These 1-hour real-time chats will involve 3 students at a time, engaged in peer learning and dialectical debate. Online debates are very important as they overcome the main problem of online learning: isolation from your peers. Isolation is counterproductive to learning sociology, as I don't want you to be one of the blind in the parable of the 6 blind men, who only believe in their limited subjective experience and no one else's. I want my students to understand the big picture and apply, analyse and evaluate the content of my programmes with each other and the real world, rather than rote learn alone just to pass examinations. Educating the mind, as Aristotle said, without educating the heart is no education at all. Your end result, with effort from both heart and mind, is to gain entry to the university of your choice. But your end grade, yours and yours alone, is merely 10% of what people see. All your hard work is the unseen 90%, the revision that underpin your essays and examination responses I'll ask you to submit to deadline. These will be marked according to your board's mark scheme and feedback given privately through your mail ID. Sociology Video Scribe is your virtual sociology school, and it's designed as the only arbiter of your examination success. It's ideal for home studies students and an invaluable home resource if you attend school or college. The online school draws on my knowledge and experience as a long-standing postgraduate sociology teacher, as well as my readings of the various and numerous texts on this subject. I recommend Sociology, Themes and Perspectives by Harold Amboss and Holborn, 7th edition 2008, as the set text for my programmes. While it's heavy and thick, reviews of this text will tell you that it does the job and seamlessly straddles A-level and degree standard. In the next presentation, I'd like to walk you through some seminal ideas necessary for you to grasp, so do join me on this journey.